So these bike programs are a little bit different than what might be in your city. In the past, these bike programs have had these big stands, solar powered. You have a card with a chip in it. You swipe that card or whatever, and that will charge you a nominal rental fee to ride the bikes. And you put it back into another bike stand, again, that is hooked up to the database and it's charged by solar power. Well, the bike programs now are like this, where in big cities like Beijing, they're fully subsidized. So there's either a small fee, or most of them are completely free. And they're subsidizing it obviously because they want to hold down on pollution. So what you do is you basically will use that QR code and the bike serial number and hook that up to your app, which will connect to your identity, and you put in the code to unlock it. That unlocks the wheel. You can ride the bike, and that way you can't technically steal it. If the bikes break down, you've got guys like this who are hired by the bike program that come by, and he oils and lubes the particular mechanics of the bike, fixes flats, and inspects the bikes and so on. And that's how this program works. It's kind of hilarious actually, because you'll see bikes that are just like piled up like scraps, you know, on the side of the road, like this right here, except it'll be even bigger. It'll be like a mountain of bikes. And that is a worthwhile endeavor, although I highly doubt that it's ever going to limit the pollution enough to get this place inhabitable long term. There's different flavors of these bikes. You see this one right here is a different company that is almost the same, except these have air in the inner tubes. These here are tubeless. And these tubeless bikes save the program the hassle of having to replace tubes, keep them inflated, and so on. So tubeless tires are becoming more and more popular, and in the next few years you're going to see basically more tubeless tires for mountain bikes, road bikes, all kinds of bikes, than you do the traditional tube tires. That is, the cost will come down significantly. You can buy them now, but eventually tubeless tires will outpace the tube tires in the west and the east. These 99 brand here are a little bit more heavy duty. You can notice the frame is better built, the tires are bigger, the chains are bigger and better, the sprockets are better, and there are single gear, but these are definitely better built. They got a basket in the front of the bike, and not too shabby, almost worth actually buying because they're better built. Pretty heavy, solid. We've got these which have to be hooked up to the bike rack here, and they come with bike locks and everything. So these are a little more fancy, a little bit more heavy duty. It's got gears on it, so you can there's a derailleur where you can change gears. So it's almost like a real bike, really. I call these like kind of like senior bikes, just because of the way they're built and the seat and everything. And in fact, back in the day, we always used to call these girls' bikes, because if they didn't have a bar going here, then we always consider these as girls' bikes. But you know, things change over time. Definitely not up to the quality of my Cannondale, but still a much nicer ride if you're willing to pay for it. Of course, the problem is that if you don't own the bike and there's no repair bill you got to pay, you just stack it up wherever you can throw it, because you're just renting it, and what happens after you ride it is purely not your fault. So You just got bikes stacked everywhere, like this, and that's just how it is. You know, they're abused, they break a lot, and like this one here, handlebars are all messed up, got no grips on them. But actually there's no real valuable components on these bikes because you know, the seats probably are the best part of it. When you look at the crank, when you look at the wheels, you look at the bearings, really cheaply made, kind of like a disposable bike per se. And since the government's subsidizing it, they can just kind of toss it anywhere. BlueGoGo, I should add that this is the third most popular bike brand in the Beijing bike sharing program. And it's the most comfortable of the bikes, and it has, you know, nice welds on it. It's heavy. The components don't break overnight. And people prefer riding these compared to some of the other bikes, which are not as well made. Well, the Jagoff CEO vacated the country with all the deposit money. So millions of Chinese yuan in his pocket, and no way for people to get the deposit money back, which is between like 15 and 30 US dollars equivalent. I think between 100 and 200 RMB. And that story is just way too common in China in a lot of industries, that because of capital controls, guys will do this. They'll get a score, they'll weigh their pros and cons, and they'll get out because it's the only way that they can get abroad and then hopefully, you know, get a green card and stuff. And he has no intentions of coming back, obviously. But BlueGoGo CEO on the lam, and no way for citizens to get their deposit money back. And finally, now you have these. These are actually rentals, but what's different about these is that they are e-bikes. Okay, they have a hub motor on the back of them, a series of battery cells either under the seat or on the floorboards, and you can pedal or power it by the electric motor and get around the city, and you don't have to buy it. You just have your QR code there, links up to your app and your bank card. A deposit, of course, is needed, and you use it as you would if it's your own bike. Only thing is, you don't have to worry about the liability factor of it. The repairs are done by the government program subsidized company and whatnot, and that is a fast and efficient way to get around the city, and you don't have to worry about parking it.